I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, and I'm located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington. And welcome to Wheel Talk. Okay, shall we start?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. Well, hi Ryan.
Hey there.
I'm
gonna see you in a couple days.
Yeah, we're gonna see each other at ClayCon West. Hooray! And Rachel's gonna be there, Ryan's wife, who's really fun. And Andrew Linderman and Ryan Reich and Victoria. We're gonna all bunk together. That should be a blast.
Yeah, I'm like the. It feels like I'm hosting all of the VIPs because everyone is speaking that we're staying together, except for me and Rachel.
Well, yeah, but you're like part of the club. Except for Kevin Kowalczyk, I think, is staying with Joe and
Kowalski.
God damn it.
You always do that. Tim Kowalski, Kevin Kowalczyk, you know.
No, I mean they had to be like friends and also like have the same last name except for like 3 letters. Not cool, guys.
I wonder if they're both. Is that Polish? Is that the ski? I
think it is.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Ski and the Walzik? I don't know.
Okay, Ryan, how was your day today?
My day was a typical Monday, I'd say. Work all day. I had my second week of class at Baker Hunt, so we just started back. I think we haven't talked since the new year, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yeah, so we started back classes. We got our new ceramic studio, which was interesting. So the prior session, we were in kind of an intermittent phase where we had everyone wheel throwing and hand building in the same room. We never had 2 classes at the same time, but everyone was in one room, and we only had a very limited amount of space where the wheels were, and tables were tight, and it was just kind of a little bit of a headache for a few weeks, especially like all wheel classes and all hand building classes. Shelving is in the same room, and it's just kind of a mess. And then we moved in this new space, and then you're like, the people making decisions for what goes in the space and how it's organized are not ceramic people.
That's frustrating.
So basically it's like we come together as a department. We're like, we need this. We think this organization would be good, this and that. So last week was our first week, and I was the very first class, and it was just kind of like keeping a little list of like 3 or 4 top things that we're missing that we could use or needed or whatever. So, but we'll it'll be kind of a improvement, and we'll figure it out. My students are probably the most they probably throw the most work.
Right, you have the most
advanced any other
students,
class.
Right?
So like space was obviously an issue, and figuring out how to fit stuff on shelves. So I had to do some like kiln post stilts and put some drywall to makeshift another shelf to stack pieces and stuff like that.
Right. So. I continuously, when I see videos like that, I'm always reminded at how lucky we are to have the space that I have, And I know some people are like, oh, we don't have enough space to put our stuff, but I'm like, you have if somebody wanted 4 shelves, they could have it. 4 boards to put on the shelf, they could have it. There's enough space for that. But some places like Baker Hunt,
and it's very modular, and you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, but some spaces there's just not that much space, and and that is, it's hard to work with, but it just makes me grateful for what I have.
Yeah, so this week we went a little smoother, and we got some things answered and fixed from last week, and so they're appreciating the back and forth and stuff like that. So that was my Monday pretty much. Actually, I did get a delivery of something in the mail that I guess I can announce that I don't even think you know about. Well, you know some of it, but so I got this big delivery in the mail from Speedball because I got 24 pints of underglaze.
Yay!
And a bottle of a gallon of clear glaze. So I'm doing a collaborative sort of thing for Speedball for their booth at NCECA coming up here in a couple weeks, and it's kind of fitting because we're going to talk about NCECA today. Mm-hmm. And so I already had like 12 of their original colors, which are just pretty much the primary colors. And then they sent me another 12 of new colors. And I think there are even more, I think 12 more colors coming. So that we have 36 different colors. And then I'm making some sippers that are little small cups. And then I'm going to carve them and all that good stuff. So we'll have that on display so they, visitors can see their gamut of underglaze options and stuff like that. And then I'm going to sell the ones that are complete there at the conference. So
right. That'll be cool. And also I want to know how the clear glaze goes. I still haven't tried that clear glaze that you use. I need to try it.
Well, the clear that they sent me is a gallon of whatever. I actually didn't open that box, but it's a gallon of, it's probably similar to what you have that you would use for your, do you get something from Mako for your paint-a-pot that you dip?
Is it low fire clear?
It's like a 04 clear, I think.
Oh, I think Tim uses,
or maybe it's a Cone 6 clear. I don't know.
Tim uses a 04 clear for his mugs. Tim Kowalczyk.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Uses an 04 clear for his mugs. I think it's Mako. I'm not sure. Which I was like, man.
I want to say they sent me a Cone 6.
They probably did because that's what you're.
I feel like she told me it was a Cone 6.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're working with. That wouldn't make any sense to send you an 04. But
yeah.
Huh.
So how was your day?
My day was good. Last night we had our first big snowstorm of the season. Always happens right around this time. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as last year. Last year we had a snowpocalypse of like 2-3 feet of snow. This year we got 6 inches. So that was good. And I had a snowball fight last night with Val Flynn. Well, it was me and Val against her husband actually, and he actually ended up winning anyway. So, but so I went and got some clay today, and then came back and the roads were fine-ish, and I was like, thank God it's actually snowing so that I can go down and drive without people being in the way. Because usually if I'd go, there'd be traffic, but there wasn't any traffic. So, and then I made the rest of my Nightmare Mug Club mugs that I've had a tough go with the Mug Club mugs, but I think they're almost done.
Did you deliver a good batch of them and you told them, hey, I've still got a few that I'm finishing?
Yeah, so I delivered 92 of them, 93 of them, I think, out of 100. And I did that on Friday in a snowstorm. So there's been a lot of snow driving. And thankfully I didn't, I almost waited to deliver them until today, but guess what? The pass is closed, so that would have been a terrible decision. But, so lots of snow driving, which is always fun because I'm from Colorado, so I love to drive in the snow. But, yeah, that's pretty much what happened today. And here I am. I'm getting ready for ClayCon West. I'm doing a workshop on Sunday, so at least I'll have 3 days to prepare.
Yeah.
Joe, the organizer, was like, you're ridiculous. Did you even read the contract? And I was like, I mean, I'm sure I did, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm the worst vendor ever. I know. I apologize. They're taking 20%. So they're doing like Essential Cashier with 20%, which is awesome.
Oh, that's totally worth 20%.
Oh my God, so much worse. And I literally I think I probably have like $600 worth of stuff going, like not even that much. It all fit in a 20 by 20 box. And I shipped it out today to go down there.
Yeah.
So, hopefully.
So you're out shipping and 20%. So hopefully you sell enough to where you can fit it in your suitcase to go back home if you don't have.
I just don't want to take anything home.
Trade it or give it or something.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything home. If anything, I'll take it back to California and find some shop and see if I can wholesale the rest of it for, So, I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. That was it. Okay.
Sweet.
What are we talking about today, Ryan? I'm excited about this.
All right, so we're talking about NCECA. I got a question on Instagram that was basically Oh, that's cool. You're going to NCECA. I'm going for my first one this year in Richmond, and I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to prioritize, what I should or shouldn't see. Can I see everything? All that kind of thing. So we're gonna kind of share our experiences. Becca's been once. She came last year to Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yep.
And then I've been the last 2 years. So this will be my third year going. We don't have a ton of experience with NCECA here, but we can share, what we learned, what we thought about it, the type of personalities we are.
Right. And I feel like we both had very different experiences.
Yeah. In my first year, I attended solo. Like, I went to Pittsburgh myself and drove there and kind of did that thing. So it was a little intimidating. But yeah, we can kind of share our thoughts. And so your first one was last year. Did you have any expectations going into it?
I expected it to be terrible.
Thought it was? You expected it to be terrible? Like terrible how? Like you wouldn't learn anything?
No,
or?
I'm not like a conference person, and I never have been. So that's why I expected it to be terrible. So what a lot of people don't actually know about me is that I am an extreme introvert. I am very good at public speaking. I'm very good at talking to people. I'm very good at pretending that I'm not. But when it comes to putting 35 people in a room that I don't know, I will cower in the corner. And Ryan's an introvert too, but not the same way I am.
Yeah. I'm more like I know that getting in a room with these people or socializing in situations like that is going to benefit me more.
He's selfish.
So I just kind of get over it and I don't worry about the little intricacies of am I too awkward?
Yeah.
Am I, what do I say to these people? I follow this person, am I worthy of talking to this person? Or
right. I don't,
you just try to be normal and I don't know. Don't overthink stuff, I would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I get nervous talking to people because I could talk to anybody. But it's mostly the fact that you're especially with NCECA this year, because I had just gotten, I'm not going to say, a lot more people knew who I was because of Clay Buddies, because I started doing a lot of live videos on Clay Buddies. And so there was all these people that knew who I was that I didn't know who they were.
Right.
And I, thankfully, I had you and I had Joe, who owns the Tilted Kiln in St. George's, who's actually putting on ClayCon West. So he was kind of like my bodyguard through the whole thing.
Wait. Becca Otis coming through.
No, but he would walk and everybody knows who Joe is. Well, that's great. And then people would come up to me and Becca, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, why? No, but I was yeah, that's fine. And Joe was dying. He was this is hilarious watching you interact with these people, but everybody was obviously so nice. And it wasn't a ton of people, but it was probably 10 to 15 people that came up to me and was oh my God, Becca, I watch you on lives all the time. I was okay, hi.
Yeah. And I think that's a thing where when you put yourself out there socially, on Instagram or Facebook or, groups like that, where you are open to showing your face in your process and talking to a screen where people are replying, people feel like they know you. Just like if you listen to a podcast and the host, people might feel like they know us really well because we talk about our lives and our businesses and money. And I'm sure I'll get that a lot more at NCECA this year. And then even more in the future, the more, we open up and have people talk to us and DM us or whatever.
Absolutely.
People get to know you more, even though you don't know them very much, or you know a little bit about them or a little bit about their work or see their work. I think there's a comfortability with talking to people, even though it seems like I'm extroverted, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's funny because, yes, I also get that actually in the town that I live in. People will come up to me in the grocery store and be like, oh my God, Becca, I can't believe that you did this last week or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know that that happened? And you know, I'm so open and I'm so like open on social media and with my process and with my life and with my struggles. And sometimes I forget that I've put myself in a position where people feel comfortable, which I'm so happy for, you know, that people feel comfortable coming up to me and talking to me. But it also throws me, like, they'll say something that's so completely like, why do you know that? And then I'm like, I feel like I should know this person. Who are you? Like, who are you that you know what this about me? And I don't know who you are at all. Like, and you're talking to me like I recognize you.
Yeah.
Which is, it's also kind of fun doing that.
I'm expecting some of that. Well, we might get some of that this weekend too. Like, you might get people that'll listen to the podcast or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, I really love the podcast" or whatever.
I have no expectations for this weekend. I know that last year they had like 100 people at ClayCon West, but I don't know how many are scheduled for this year, and I'm really excited about it because I'm actually kind of hoping we can go a little bit under the radar.
Oh, okay. I feel like if you're going to, this weekend is probably better than NCECA to go under the radar.
Yeah. So just to clarify, I am not going to NCECA this year. Ryan is. It's a bit too far for me, and
way too far.
Yeah. Last year during NCECA, like I went to NCECA and then I went to someplace else and then I went to someplace else 3 weeks in a row, and it totally wore me out. So I think that this year I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. So first time going into it, you said you had no expectations, or you said you thought it would be bad.
I thought it would be bad.
Is that because of your personality? You're just not a conference goer, and you thought it wasn't going to impress you enough?
Yeah.
With the content, or you just didn't know? Yeah,
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to learn, or I don't know if I'm going to learn anything. I don't know what the value is of this, you know. Mm-hmm. I think that in some ways I was proven correct, and in some ways I was proven incorrect, you know. I felt going in, I was not aware that NCECA is actually really there to educate educators, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that until the first conference I went to as well.
Yeah.
That it was very academic, like artsy sort of focused, or...
Right.
It wasn't as like being a successful business person or artist or whatever. Like, we're very business oriented, and like, you know, we want to see the process and getting efficient and how to, you know, live as a potter or a maker or whatever and survive, versus like feeling like we're still in college or something where you're still learning.
Totally.
You know, concepts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there were some discussions about the stuff that really interest us, I would say, too.
Yeah. And you know, I think that, I think that one of the things that, and, you know, anybody can sign up for a workshop at NCECA to teach a workshop. They just have to get chosen. But I think that for me to go back and feel like I benefited from the workshops, I would want to see more business-oriented workshops, or more like applicable to life as a potter type workshops, you know, like...
Yeah, like round tables with people that are not instructors or professors from universities. You want to see people that are like business people that are selling pottery and have sold pottery at art shows or wholesale, or they do galleries or whatever.
And there was one, the one with that Sean was in, and I can't remember the two other people that were in it, and that one was really good. And it got down to kind of like the nitty gritty of like numbers and stuff, because, you know, sometimes I just want to go to conferences and be like, okay, do you actually make money? Like, is this person that's on Instagram that's like got 15 billion followers, do you actually make money, or is it all just a show? You know? And I kind of got validated in that workshop. Because Sean's like, he was just like, yeah, like, this is what I did, and this is what I, like, this is our goals, and these are what we did. And I was like, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say that, I mean, you don't learn to I guess, flaunt that or talk about that as much.
Right.
And whether you're just like generationally, it's kind of like one of those politics, religion, money sort of things that you just don't talk about.
Yeah.
But I would say, especially, and also like artists, like it's kind of a thing to assume that starving artists is a thing, and you don't really talk about money.
Totally.
It's too prideful to talk about money and
artists are really jealous people. I know I'm a jealous person. Like if somebody was like, well, I've learned to not be, but if somebody was like, oh, I make this much money, I'd be like, well, fuck you. You know?
All right, so if Becca just says that to you, like, watch out.
What? No, I'm kidding. I don't really say that ever. I get really excited about when people are making a lot of money, actually. I think that's, I mean, a win for one person in this community is a win for everybody, really.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your lodging. How did you do lodging? And I'll talk about how I did it.
So Pittsburgh, my first one, I did Airbnb, and I did a private room at an Airbnb. I shared the bathroom, and it was very affordable. It was probably like $30-$40 a night.
Did you go with Rachel?
My one in Pittsburgh, I did not. I went solo and drove there. The one in Minneapolis, I want to say we did the same thing. We did an Airbnb in a. Oh yeah, you remember the house? It was like a historic house, and it had like really cool architecture and stuff.
So, pause.
Airbnb all the way.
Pause. Ryan's wife, Rachel, is like really into architecture. So any place that they go is very heavily influenced in architecture. That's pretty much just their go-to. Okay, continue.
Right. Yeah. So we stayed at Airbnb, and it was drivable and stuff like that. Rented a car, all that kind of thing. This year I did an Airbnb as well. I just booked it today actually. And I think I'm not going to drive or anything. I'm flying there, and I'll be doing probably public transit, I would say.
Is Rachel going with you this time?
Like Uber. She is not.
Okay.
So I'll be solo again. It'll be weird to be solo again, but we'll stick it out. I can deal with the awkwardness of being solo because I feel like I know more people.
Yeah.
Than last year, and even
I think that if I was ever gonna go again, I'd probably want to be I would spend the money to be in a hotel room right next to the convention center.
Yeah.
Because like there were so many people that was like going different places, and like going to the different galleries. Like I never went to any of the galleries, which I kind of wish that I would have. I really wanted to go to the Campion Gallery show that
Companion Gallery, Collaborative Companions. Yeah.
And so I feel like being in a hotel next to the convention center kind of helps people with that, because you can just
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially if you're solo, you can, feel a little bit safer where you are and like kind of going around. I did an Airbnb as well. However, I did it with a bunch of people that I didn't know. So Andrew Linderman.
How did you find it?
Andrew Linderman had a friend, and who he had done like wood firings with, and he connected me with her, and then she like had a bunch of friends that they did the wood firings together and all these things, and so I just kind of like came in and I had like a room.
Grouped up and...
Yeah, and there was like 8 people in the house. And I ended up sleeping on the couch, which was a bummer, because I'm pretty positive I was the only person in that house that actually didn't have a regular bed at home. So I look forward to, whenever I go on vacation, I look forward to the fact that I get to sleep in a normal bedroom and like have a normal shower, and like that's like a luxury to me.
Right.
Because that's not my life. So, but yeah, no, it was fun though. I mean, I was with like these old school potters. That is also another way to go, is just to get a group in a house. And I was with these like old school potters, and they all knew each other from like years and years and years ago. And some of them you could tell were like the most badass potters and like artists. And they stayed up until 2 a.m. singing songs. One of the guys played the harmonica like really well, and we like stayed up and sang songs and told stories, and it was like this I don't know, it was an experience for sure. It was fun though. I was just really tired. I was like, I don't know how you guys can stay up this late.
Did you ever ask them, like, they were older, so they're probably like in their 60s or older is what I remember, right? So did you ever ask them like what brings them to NCECA?
Yeah, I think I did, and it's mostly that they've always done it for one, but they have this community, and they have this like, I don't know, there's something different about that generation, that they have just this love and this insane passion and love for like art in general. And so any excuse they can have to get to some place that's like, let's go to this art museum and let's go to this art museum. Like we went to a couple art museums that they didn't even have clay in them, you know? Yeah. And their insane love of art and the craft is what brings them back every year, you know? Like they were raving over like the keynote speaker and stuff like that. They're like all about that stuff.
Okay, so they're very art heavy.
Very art heavy. One of the guys, actually, his name was Joel. His son was the one that won the Brent wheel in one of the competitions. The canned soup one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
The teapot one.
Yeah, Brent had a pretty sweet booth competition.
Yeah.
During NCECA last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say my first one, I see what you mean about the hotel. There's definitely a lot that's in proximity that's close.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to pay more for it because a hotel, what's the cheapest hotel you can get? Probably $140 a night.
Probably.
At the minimum, but it's probably going to be more than that.
Because they know it's happening, so they up the prices.
Yeah, there's so much more demand, and it's right there, and it's downtown and all that kind of thing. So, so that's a thing. Especially if you don't know anybody, like that's a good option.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to figure out how you're going to get back to your Airbnb. Do you have time to go back and, change or drop off all your stuff because you have all this stuff from the vendor booths that you get, whether it's like glaze samples or tools or you buy these pots or whatever. Yeah, proximity is good. For me, I think I did the Airbnb. I don't mind it being separate because I kind of need some of that recharge time. Yeah. Sort of like you're talking about the introvert thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on value if I don't utilize every second of the day to go see stuff that's only going to be there that one time. And for me, I don't really care about going to the art museums and seeing sculptures on pedestals and pots and like the figurative stuff or the more art heavy stuff. I don't really care about that as much.
Yeah, that's where we differ because I like the art heavy stuff.
I would much rather go to the collaborative companion and see those pots and pick up pots from the different galleries that are inside of the expo hall, like Eutectic Gallery or all those different ones that are close that you can actually pick up the pieces. I'm very tactile, so I like to be able to pick stuff up and feel it and look at the process and think about how it was made, or maybe I know the person who made it and I follow them on Instagram, but I want to see what it actually feels like in person, or I can like see them in person at the show and see them like demo or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I liked a lot.
I feel like, I don't know if this is the case with the Pittsburgh one, but with the Minneapolis one, there was also we went, that I don't think that I would have gone to all the art museums and all the like the extra things had I not been in this house, which I'm really appreciative of. We went to like the Northwest Clay Center, I think so that's what it was called.
Yeah, I went there too. The Northern Clay
Northern
Center.
Clay Center. That place was cool. So freaking cool. It was so, so, so cool. So, what I would recommend if you do go is find out where that, like, there's got to be some clay center that's associated with NCECA that they have tours of. Try to find it because those places sometimes are like the coolest places and they'll give you ideas for your studios and for like how like I came back home from that and I was like, oh my god, I can do this and this and this, like like there was so many ideas.
Yeah, and the reason she was kind of geeking out about that is because it's a clay studio. It's like a community studio, but they have a gallery in the front. They have like an art gallery museum that they had like a, I want to say Warren McKenzie exhibit or something like that.
So cool.
And then they had their studio, which was all like cleaned up, looking good. They had their glaze area with their like matrix of glaze samples and, you know, the kitchen area that has like Forrest Middleton tile on the backsplash of the sink area. And, you know, they have their community like shared spaces for teaching classes.
And like kiln
you know, their
room.
different rooms. Yeah, their Blau kiln they had. And then the studio rental spaces that are
Did they
like...
have a Blau?
Like, they did have a Blau. It had Northern Clay Center on it. I don't know if you went in that room, but...
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. And then, you know, they show all the little individual artist spaces that have, you know, they're like 8x8 space that they work out of that are rented. And then each of those people had little, like, gallery spaces out in front of it that they were selling some pots. Thing. So I actually bought a piece from David Mink. And I followed him on Instagram and stuff like that. So I got to pick my favorite like wood-fired pot that he had.
Yeah, I bought a piece there too.
So yeah, that's what the Northern Clay Center was all about. So I don't know if there's a center like that in Richmond, but I'll look for it.
Yeah, so
I know there are definitely some in Cincinnati to see the year after that.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I think you really have to consider what kind of a person you are when you go to a conference like this. As with any conference, right? Ryan is the kind of person that Googles ahead of time where the best breweries are, where the places to eat are. Like, he's that type of person. I'm the person that shows up and says, so how do I get an Uber? So there's two different...
Or you're like, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
What's there to eat close by? Let's walk by. I'm more like... I was looking today after I booked my Airbnb. I was like, lunch around Convention Center and like looked it up. And I like pinned, like starred them.
That's hilarious.
Like 6 places.
Yeah, so that's
and
Ryan.
I'm like, okay, that's effort that's put in that I can easily pull up so that when I'm in a stressful situation and I'm just like, I'm hungry, I don't have to put that work in.
And I would...
So that's me.
Yeah, and I would honestly recommend to be Ryan in this situation. I think that if I had kind of like researched galleries and food places, I probably would have been better off, you know. I was lucky because I had you and I had Joe and I had Josh and I had like all these people that kind of knew what they were doing. And
right.
And I just kind of followed.
Yeah.
But
so what would you... There's also like bus tours and stuff, which I think go to a specific set of galleries.
Yes.
And you can pay for that beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's very organized for you. I think you just basically show up to this bus stop outside of the conference center. They have a sheet that says, hey, this is the bus stop or the bus number, and we're going to leave at 4:30.
Right.
And then you make it back to the convention center at 8:30 or something like that.
I think I would have liked something like that. It was very like something just handed to you. We didn't do it, but it would be,
Yeah. I don't know that I would want to do, like, I like the scheduling and stuff. Like, that's kind of me, but them telling me which galleries I would go to along this path, and they are the transportation, so you can't really argue with where they decide to go.
Yeah.
And you have full knowledge of where you're going because you signed up for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think...
Find your local. I mean, Washington Clay Association had like a meetup because.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So like, if you have a local, you should do that with your Kentucky people. If you have a local clay association, make sure if they do have something, that you go to it, because I met people that I wouldn't have met. I'm not very active in the Washington clay scene. I'm sorry. and I met people that I never would have met. So that was fun. And also they have that scavenger hunt.
Hide and seeka.
The hide and seeka, and I wish like somebody found one in the restaurant that we were there. If I was by myself, that's the only thing I would do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like.
And if you're just like meeting people and you're like, what are you doing? Just be like, I heard about this hide and seeka thing. I just want to go find one of these things. I think you can look it up on Instagram. I think they post the items on there or something like that, and then it's basically like a little bag that has a thing in it that says you found this.
Yeah, I think you have to like come up to and give it to somebody, and then you get something in return.
You get it, and then it tells you like claim this at this booth, and then you get a piece of pottery or something.
Yeah, I just think that that's so much fun. I really like challenges, so that would.
Yeah. And that's like like you're just going around, you're hanging out with this person and you're looking for something. There's like a goal in mind. It's not
right.
It's not awkward where you're just like two people and you're like, okay, now where do we do now?
Yeah, and it's at like galleries and stuff, so you're still going to places that have significant like worth, So
right.
That's cool. I would definitely suggest that.
Yeah, definitely.
Share your Ubers also. Try to find people and share your.
Yeah.
Ryan had a car, so I hitched a ride with him a few times, but.
Yeah. And you're if you're going there solo and you don't really know anybody, you're going to see people that sort of click up a little bit or they know people, and it'll seem a little like lonely if you don't know anybody. But I don't know, like for me, I was very eager to like go up to people when they're demoing in the expo hall and like talk to them or like ask them what they're doing with their process or something like that, or get some of the free samples. Like
also, if you're going and you've never been before, I would recommend joining Clay Buddies on Facebook, because I know Tim C, like he's very like, if you've never been, come and say hi to me because I'll show you the ropes, so he's a super friendly guy, and the Clay Buddies like community is very they really want to meet everybody and they want to hang out, so I would recommend kind of get involved with Clay Buddies now, and that way you can at least know somebody, or recognize somebody's name.
And they do a little like shot glass exchange, I think.
Yeah, they do. I did it last year.
Sometime during it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you should look on Clay Buddies. I don't know if they have all that info out yet. Maybe not.
No, I think just make a few shot glasses and take them with you, and then you can figure it out. But also, oh my God, what I wish I would have known is to make small things so you can trade. Because we took some mugs and stuff, but carrying around mugs and pottery and everything is so annoying.
It's heavy.
But take something like little tiny shot glasses, something small. Because
pins or buttons or something like that.
Specifically shot glasses, though. I feel like those are popular for trading.
Yes. I traded a shot glass with Kurt Hammerly.
Yes,
I felt like, oh my gosh, you sell these shot glasses for $30. I'm not worthy to trade a shot glass that I sell for $5 with yours.
Didn't you trade one with Leanne too?
I did, yeah. Leanne Thompson.
Yeah.
Alon Pottery.
Yeah. So I wish that I would have known that, because I would have taken a lot more small things. It's not about getting the big trades. Like some of the shot glasses I have are the best. Like I got a Tim C shot glass. He makes little button stamps, like little coins, and that's what he trades, which I think is really smart.
That's cool.
Yeah, just like a little knick-knack.
Yeah. I'll have some shot glasses, so if you see me come up and...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you see me in Richmond, come up and say, hey, you want to trade a shot glass? Actually, I did probably trade about 5 different things like that.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, take 20 shot glasses this time.
Yeah. Oh, I think I took about 12 or something, and yeah, I definitely got a lot back.
Also, going through airport security with all of your pottery is a pain in the ass. Just check your bag. Just do it.
I didn't have any issues. You're talking about like they unpacked your stuff and all that?
Oh my god, because I had my whole thing was carry-on. And, yeah, we had to take all of the pottery out. Because they, like, found out that we're, like, oh, everybody's from NCECA. Everybody has to take all the pottery out. Oh, so annoying. Or at least have it all in a, like, you know, in one container.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
When I left Rebecca's, because I went from NCECA to Rebecca Graves' studio. When I left Rebecca's, I just put it all in one bag. Like, it was only pottery in that bag.
And you checked the pottery bag?
No, I took it on, but it was just pottery. Like, it wasn't me rummaging through my bag to find pottery.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I want to say the one in Minneapolis, I stuck a whole bunch of like 2-ounce Amico glazes inside of a bunch of pots. And then I think I ended up checking it because I wanted to make sure that I could get the glazes through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a task.
Yeah, I like just be smart about your baggage.
Right, and if you drive, even better because you can take stuff home. That's a lot easier.
Also, I don't know about you, but I got so much paper from NCECA, like so much, and I haven't even. It's still in a bag in my shop. Like I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, I have a bag in my studio that has a bunch of that kind of stuff. I'm going to be more selective about what I pick up this year, I think.
I know it's easy to like just walk around and pick up pieces of paper, but really think about what you're doing there because as somebody who owns a business and has to spend a lot of money on paper products, if you don't pick them up, it'll be fine. And if you pick them up and throw them in the trash right away, you are wasting 20 cents. So just keep that in mind. Right. But they do have really cool posters.
I was going to mention the posters. Also be selective about the posters you take because if you're flying for sure, like those are going to be awkward to get through the airport. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like stuck them in my bag and carried them or whatever, but it's pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say Amico always has a really cool one. And,
I'm not even sure I got a poster last year at all.
I got one from Amico Brent 2 years ago that was like 100 years or something, and it had a bunch of little pictures.
That's cool.
Of people that tagged Amico on social. Mm-hmm. Or Brent or whatever, and people using their Brent wheels. And then I always get a Ceramics Monthly one that has like top shots from the covers of Ceramics Monthly pots.
I know. I want more posters, but I think that I knew that it would be a pain in the ass to get them through the airport, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go straight home. I went somewhere else, and then I went home. But.
Yeah.
What else should we talk about?
For me, I feel like the biggest benefit personally at NCECA is the people that you get to see and like talk to, and the social media side has really. Like, if I wasn't on Instagram, I wouldn't get as much value out of NCECA because I wouldn't know anybody except for people local to me that I talk to. So I think being active on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Clay Buddies, all that kind of stuff just widens your circle of people to know and, like, faces that you recognize. And, you know, there's that comfortability with strangers, even though they kind of know you a little bit.
Right. Oh my God, I forgot about the most important thing that happened at NCECA.
What?
When we sat down for lunch, you remember?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so one day we were like freaking starving. I was super cheap, so I packed up a bunch of like string cheeses and stuff. But I think Ryan went and got food, and while Ryan was getting food, me and Josh, I think, sat down. Was Josh with us?
Yeah, I think so. Or somebody was with us. Maybe Joe or something like that. Somebody was with us. I don't know.
And we sat down and there was this lady at the table and she was like, "Oh, hey, can I ask you a question?" And we were like, "Sure." And I can't even remember what she asked us. But
yeah, I don't remember either.
It doesn't matter. But it turns out that she worked for Olympic kilns. And we were talking about like firing schedules or something like that, and we were talking about kilns. And I wasn't really I was in the market for a kiln, but I didn't want to get it from NCECA because I didn't want to like ship it back. And I was talking to her and I was like, "Oh yeah, I need 2 kilns. Like I need 2 more kilns, but you know, that's going to happen next year." And she goes, "Oh, well, here's my card and here's the price we can give you."
Right.
And it was like 30% off, guys. Like it was no, it was 40% off. It was insane. It was insane. Like I showed Joe later and he was like, "I couldn't even get you that good of a deal." And he's a distributor for them. Or for Scud or something like that. But yeah, so I just like weirdly made this connection with Olympic kilns, and the person that I had made the connection with is now gone. But out of that came this weird, like, you know, now all the ladies from Olympic follow me on Instagram. and on Clay Buddies. And one of them, every time I call, she's like, "I have no idea how you make it so interesting for somebody who doesn't even know how to throw pottery." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
That's funny.
But so I ended up it made my looking for a kiln an extremely easy decision, just because they gave me such.
And it paid for your conference,
And it
like
paid
completely
for my conference. Like the whole conference was worth that discussion at that table. Like what ended up happening was that I called and like I was just gonna get another 10 cubic foot kiln. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well fucking do this. And so then I was like, what about an oval kiln? And she was like, "Oh, well, we actually have a factory second in this size that is the same size, takes the same size half shelf as your 10 cubic foot shelf. So you can actually mix and match them." And I was like, oh. And so I ended up getting a $5,000 kiln for $3,200, I think. The same price as my 10 cubic foot kiln. And I got a little baby kiln for like $1,800 instead of $2,400. It was insane, like totally worth it. And now, and we still need to do like some promotions with Olympic, but Sadie was kind of their social media person. Now she's gone, so they're kind of trying to figure it out. But
yeah, so don't feel like every one of those booths. I would say the people that are running the booths at these kind of things are a little more approachable. They're not like salesmen at other kind of conferences where they're, I don't know.
I mean, they're still salesmen, but they're people too. I think especially in the clay community, you have to remember that almost every single company is small, because guess what? The clay community is small. And you can't, I mean, yeah, Scud's probably the biggest clay company, I would say. Brent too. But they're all like people, you know?
Right. And the people that are there representing the company, like, they're not just, they're such a small knit group of people that probably work there.
Right.
They're very close to the people that are doing the building of the kilns or whatever.
Totally.
So it's not like you're just getting a person that is coming in day one at some huge enterprise company that's a salesperson that is nowhere close to the people that develop the product or whatever.
Yeah, and like what I loved about the Olympic, like buying the Olympics, and I just, you know, I have one Scud and then 2 Olympics. I love my Scud kiln. All in all, I think it's a better built kiln than the Olympics. However, at the end of the day, a kiln's a kiln, and all the ladies at Olympic actually know my name. And so it's kind of like I built like a relationship with them, you know? And you could do that with Scott. I think they're a little bit bigger company, so it's a little bit harder. But like I could call them up and be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. Can you please help me? And they'd be like, sure, no problem. What do you need help with? You know? And, but so that's kind of what I got out of it. And like, yeah.
Did you talk to the Advancer Shelf people when you were there last year? Is that how you decided to get Advancer Shelves too?
No, Joe. Joe from the Tilted Kiln.
Oh, okay.
Was the one who told me to get Advancers. No, I didn't. I knew what Advancers were, but I hadn't gotten them, and I wish that I would have known about them before I'd gotten because I actually ended up getting the shelf kit, quote unquote, from Olympic, which, by the way, don't do that. If you buy a kiln, buy your shelves separately. Don't get them from the company. Just because when you're getting your kiln shipped, I believe that those kiln shelves are what's going to crack. Like, 2 of my 6 kiln shelves were cracked. So, and it's not their fault. It's just the shipping process, you know? And,
yeah.
So I wish that I kind of would have known that because I spent like $600 on those kiln shelves. And had I just gone with Advancers, I think I would have been a little bit happier. But Advancers is out of Minneapolis too. So
I didn't
that's
know that.
why they were there. I don't think they would normally go to any other NCECA. I'm not sure. I don't think they have any issue selling their kiln shelves.
Interesting.
It sounds to me like they have no problem at all. Because the gas kiln clientele is like they'll only use Advancers. So
Nice.
yeah.
And then there's also a whole group of booths that I don't really go to at all, which is a bunch of
colleges,
master's programs and educational sort of booths and places to do residencies all over the country, all that kind of stuff. You know, that might not be in my wheelhouse right now based on my lifestyle and what time I have to work in clay. So that stuff may cater to a different crowd than the two of us.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a student or you're about to graduate or you've already recently graduated and you're kind of looking for some place to try out some new techniques or do some workshops or something like that. There's a lot of booths that have stuff like that, like Archie Bray or Watershed. There's Aramont. There's all kinds of stuff like that besides the universities that you can do stuff like that. So
totally. Oh, also, I think there's an app, right? There's an NCECA app that you can get. It's not the best app in the world, but it's are you looking it up?
It's good. Yeah, I actually pulled this app up a few days ago, and it wasn't updated just yet for 2020. I had to go to, it looks like it still says 2019. So the app's gonna have the schedule in there, and then you can actually like bookmark stuff, so you can add them to your schedule. Because if you look right now on the NCECA website, the tentative schedule, there is so much stuff on there.
So much.
If we didn't say this before, you cannot hit everything. You're not going to hit everything.
Nor will you.
Don't feel overwhelmed and feel like you're missing out because you don't hit a lot of stuff. Like, make notes of what things interest you most and, like, put pins in those and then, make sure you schedule time for that. But if you don't hit some things, like, it's not a big deal. There's going to be plenty of things for you to get value out of. And it may even be overwhelming to just look at this schedule of like stuff going on. So, I find myself, if I'm overwhelmed with a lot of stuff going on, I might just, spend an hour or so like circling the expo hall and seeing demos or whatever and kind of stumbling upon things versus like running from session to session, because that can get to be a lot. And also, like, hey, if you're with a friend or something, or you just met somebody new and they're like, hey, I'm looking forward to going to this thing. That's what I did with Becca. I think I was with Becca and she was interested in some session that I wouldn't normally go to. I think, what was it about there was a session about like depression and small business makers or ADHD
No, it's
or something like that.
ADHD and ADHD
Sorry.
in
ADHD
in pottery essentially, and it was extremely fun. I think that was the funnest one we went
creatives
to.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that one was less lecture and more like round table, sort of like talking as a group. And then it was a lot of like 20 somethings and like students, but it was also a wide range of people.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have normally gone to that because like I don't have ADHD, but like it interests Becca, and I'm sure there's a lot of you get value out of listening to people that are, you know, talking about these things and how they address it or how they
somebody cried
deal
in
with
that
certain
one.
situations.
There was like,
did they?
that was like a super emotional one for some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So like, don't feel like, oh, sorry, we can't chat anymore because I got to go to this other thing that I want to go to. Maybe like sit in on something that you didn't think you wanted to.
Yeah. Also, I think it should be said that you should take some time for yourself too. You know, don't
feel bad to go down the hall and like kind of hole up a little bit and kind of read.
Yeah, or walk through the booths by yourself, or just like go to a gallery by yourself. You know, in conferences like this, people tend to, I think that most people, I would imagine, tend to get a little overwhelmed, especially if you're an introvert.
Definitely.
Which most potters are.
Yeah.
So, you know, make it a point to kind of like slow down and take some time for yourself and like think about it.
I saw quite a few people that were, you know, don't feel bad if you need to like sit there and listen to music or something like that and sketch or do something to kind of get yourself back in this headspace of being able to be extroverted.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to recharge a little bit, because, you know, a lot of people need that.
Oh, and take snacks.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea too.
Yeah, because
I'll have to figure out what snacks
the food's really expensive.
It is.
So
and there's not really places to buy snacks, I would say.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, maybe when you get there, stop by a grocery or
I'm sure they have like
store
Trader Joe's or something. Get some like
or
RX bars or something that you can fill up on. It sounded kind of bougie right there. Get some RX bars.
I was like, Trader Joe's? I don't think I've ever been to a Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is nice. Honestly, you know what? Trader Joe's was made for the poor people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not expensive. I think that people always think that it's really expensive. It's not. It's like...
See, I feel like that's a Whole Foods, a little lower than a Whole Foods or something, but it's not.
No, that's like, it's like regular food prices.
Oh.
I feel like Kroger is more expensive than Trader Joe's.
Really? Okay.
For sure.
Kroger's my speed. Like,
huh?
That's like my speed. That's like where I go to shop.
What's it called out there? Is it called Kroger?
Yeah, that's called Kroger. It's actually based here in Cincinnati.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a headquarters.
Because it's called
thing in Cincinnati.
It's called Fred Meyer's in Washington, and it's called King Soopers in Colorado. So.
Yep. All right. Is there anything else? We're at 58 minutes. Is there anything else that we missed in NCECA wise? Things that you're looking forward to. You're coming to Cincinnati, right? I hope.
Oh, is that next year?
Yeah.
Well, duh. I have a place to stay.
You have the places. I have a place to stay. Josh Heim will steal your spot if you don't come.
We can have a slumber party.
You're gonna slumber party on my office. You're gonna be sleeping right here behind me on this couch.
Well, Josh can sleep on the floor.
Not couch. It's a chase thing.
Josh can sleep on the floor. He's the man.
Somebody can sleep in the living room or something on the couch.
Yeah. He always says he's old, but he's not. He's only 35. He can sleep on the floor.
I was just saying, there's not room in this room to sleep on the floor unless we didn't pull this couch out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll be there at Cincinnati because it's just so far to go to.
Yeah.
You know, to go to Virginia.
To all the way to the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, we'll see you in Cincinnati, and
we'll see you in Utah.
Oh yeah, we'll see you here in a couple days.
Hooray! Also, I think that the biggest thing is to put yourself out there, step outside of your box a little.
Yeah. Don't get so maybe I just perceive that people get more self-conscious about how they're coming across and their awkwardness and like being very aware of their awkwardness. But I feel like I'm more empathetic to realize that people think about that, because I sort of think about that sometimes, but I really put it in the back of my mind because I realize that it's not really that forefront to other people.
Yeah.
I'm just worrying about it without the need for it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the trouble and worth the aggravation to worry about that kind of stuff. So
also stay safe. Don't drink too much. Don't do drugs, and make sure to cover your drink.
Yeah, do all that. And
with that, I feel like we should end.
All right. Thanks for listening. Hope you got something out of this. If you're going to NCECA, let me know at RD Ceramics. I'll be there. I'll trade a shot glass with you or something like that.
Cool.
And Becca will be following along on social. If you're not going, just follow along on social. There's plenty of people that are going to be sharing stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I got super jealous the first time that I couldn't go. Like when you went the first time
to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay. Later, guys.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to follow me or Ryan, you can follow us on our Instagrams. My Instagram is 5 Lines Pottery Studio. It's the number 5. And his Instagram is at RD Ceramics. That's R as in Ryan, D as in Durban, Ceramics. And we would love for you to follow us. But we would also love it if you gave us a review on whichever platform that you're listening on. And if you tell your friends. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope that we can do it some more and have some great conversations. Thanks!